Climate action. Where do countries begin? Orchestrating the elements that go into reducing and eliminating greenhouse gas emissions takes time. NAMAs have demonstrated to be a successful tool to help move countries from their commitments into their actions. Nationally appropriate mitigation actions deliver opportunities to a wide range of sectors, from cement to waste management. NAMAs identify specific pathways to help countries lower their greenhouse gas emissions and achieve their intended nationally determined commitments.
NAMA work may benefit Paris Agreement implementation in at least 3 and probably several more ways. Firstly, by generating valuable lessons on mitigation action in several sectors. Secondly, as a testing ground for concepts that may then be taken forward at scale, for example, by the Green Climate Fund. And thirdly, by demonstrating interventions that comprise both policy and regulatory activities as well as private sector mobilization.
The NAMA concept itself was not included in the Paris Agreement, and this led to a lot of questions for the developing countries because they have been putting so much effort in identifying and designing NAMAs. So now that the Paris Agreement has entered into force, now the focus will be on the implementation of the NDCs, and that is where NAMAs can play a key role for moving from these high-level commitments, which are included in the NDCs, to actions on the ground to reduce emissions.
Over 200 NAMAs are in the pipeline, with only around 19 implemented. How can more projects move through the process?
Well-defined financing mechanisms that address specific financing barriers. That has to be underlined by detailed financial analysis of a particular sector, projects, or programs. Pipeline of feasible, financeable, bankable projects that will attract not just the public and international finance, but also private finance. My colleague spoke a lot about host country contribution and ownership. This is really a critical issue. And what will make the NAMA transformational is a clear and long-term policy trajectory.
Case studies are beginning to demonstrate the value of NAMAs.
Emissions in the transport sector in Vietnam are increasing rapidly. This comes together with problems with regard to health and air quality. So this NAMA aims at contributing to sustainable development of the transport sector in Vietnam and a greenhouse gas reduction by building on 3 components. So the first is by introducing low-carbon bus technologies, by conducting operational improvements. This could be more efficient tires, for instance, and then also by shifting from private to public transport.
The absolute key is that the host country has the ownership of the NAMA. It's embedded in the strategy, but also that other stakeholders in the country have ownership. So you've got the local companies, the local ministries, and other local actors who really feel that this is their mitigation action. And then all of this action should be based on good data. So, for example, in the Peruvian waste sector NAMA proposal, we've identified ways in which you can change the policies to really realize the mitigation potential by allowing to sell waste to the industry so that they can make something valuable out of it. And at the moment, it's not possible by the law, so changing this will then make it possible to do the mitigation action by having an enabling policy environment.
In the rush to Paris, most NDCs were developed top-down, so from theoretically, economically scenarios. But now when it comes into practice and when it comes to NDC implementation, what we are seeing now, it's really NAMAs as being implemented as building blocks for NDCs. So it's rather a bottom-up approach.